Waterford City and County Council is the local authority responsible for Waterford City and the Waterford County Administration area. We help provide the planning process within the city and county. We deal with public housing, the fire service and public council rates as well, and dealing with environment and roads in addition to that. One of the recent projects we've been using FME with is the Bluesky National Tree Mapping Project. This is whereby we commission aerial photography to be flown of the city and county periodically, and at the last set of data being captured, we also look to try and gather information around the trees. This was for two purposes. Firstly, it was to work with the development plan, so where we have the zoning and planning around permitting planning applications within the city and county, we need to know where trees are so that we can preserve them and protect them. And part of that was gathering information on that. And rather than doing a physical survey, we felt that we could gather that information from aerial photography. We also then wanted to start establishing a baseline for the trees around the city and county in terms of our carbon plan going forward. Part of that was then to start using that information. And that's where we started, where FME came in and how we then look to analyse that information. FME has enabled us to understand the tree canopy coverage within the city, which was the defined area. So by overlaying and capturing the data and using FME workspaces and workbenches, we could establish that we had a 12% tree coverage within the city, and then we could start to look at potential available land. So using FME again, we would then start to look at overlaying development plan zones and parts of land that were in public usage, so that we could then start to identify areas that we could potentially plant into the future and reach our target of 20% coverage in years to come. We also use FME extensively to help sync and create one single source of truth of data within the organisation. We have regular nightly scheduled workspaces which would enrich data and pull data from enterprise databases and present that seamlessly onto a map for staff to use. We also do that with planning applications. We would actually then interrogate the enterprise planning application system, overlay that with the locations of the planning applications, and present that not only to members of staff so they can make decisions on planning applications, but also present it to members of the public so they can access and see what's going on. So a lot of it is about confidence in the data. With running nightly schedules and sometimes hourly schedules, we know that we're getting the information out, we're drawing that information from one single source and then presenting it to the whole organisation. And then you've got the speed of that as well. So FME has enabled us through a number of different projects to improve processes, help save staff time so they're not copying and pasting information, and that they're spending their most valuable part of their time applying their knowledge that they've learned over a number of years and discharging their duties as effectively as possible. The challenge is always doing things better and smarter and improving. So when I first came to the council 16 years ago, they weren't using FME, and pretty much the first thing was to start using it as traditional number of people would, is just translating information and bringing it in. What FME has allowed us to do over the years is build from that starting point to automating processes, improving analysis, and it's enabled us to not only start to do things in a new way, but also traditional workflows and processes and improve those. So pretty much the efficiencies that we're seeing today, where people might think I work in a section of many staff, in fact, sometimes there's only one or two of us actually working with the software and developing it and deploying it and producing great results. So it's allowed us to do so much more with only a small amount of technical and physical resources. FME became the one piece of software that would be the one that I would hold on to the longest. It's now become so core to the part of the work that I do that it really is the first piece of software I'll be using each day and the one that I'd want to use regularly. So definitely would recommend it in terms of its value to what it can deliver to an organisation like mine. It's, the possibilities are indeed endless. The software itself has always moved forward and made my job continually easier to do and create workspaces so that I enjoy using them, but also it started to expose new possibilities in the types of work that I can discharge and look to push with FME.